Welcome to Phase 1, the brainstorming process. As we saw before, the sketching process is an incredibly important part of the concept development stage. What it does is it helps us get through our rough ideas on paper, but also helps us quickly decide if a concept will work or not, making this a huge time-saving step. We can hop right into Adobe Illustrator with some ideas, and I've done that many times, but sketching out ideas first is a quicker way to jot down those ideas. An Illustrator can take a little bit of time to create those concepts compared to sketching. As they say, to each his own, and hopping right into Illustrator in the brainstorming process is of course still allowed, if that's how you feel most comfortable. When struck by an idea or inspiration, it can come immediately upon getting a question answered back from the client. It could come one day later. It has been known to strike you in the middle of the night in some cases. This time I was ready to start sketching out ideas. It was when I was attending a conference and sitting there listening to a boring speaker. I took the nearest piece of paper I had and just started to sketch out our letters, F, L, U, X. The client brief did indicate that Flux could possibly be shortened and be a nickname for this app, but eventually we do need to find out how to work the word video in there. In terms of concept, I felt like the word flux and those letters needed to be where the core of the concept resided. After sketching out some ideas in the morning, there was another moment in the afternoon where I explored more ideas with pen and paper. It's not about looking pretty here, it's all about the idea. Adobe Illustrator will help us perfect our lines, make them straight, so don't worry about that until later in the process. Further in the process, I hopped into the Procreate app to sketch out the arrow play icon concept with the letter F. X was starting to be a harder letter to work with because things started to focus more on the back of the word than the front of the word. Also, with bringing X out more than the other, it started to sometimes read like flu X and not flux. With those issues starting to arrive after sketching for 45 minutes or so, I started to explore the possibility of working with a simple play button arrow and work that into the F somehow. I am trying out many different arrangements. Since sketching only takes around 20 seconds per F, I'm able to work through a ton of these arrangements and sizes to find out the right feeling and the one that I think will be the most readable and flexible. Procreate is great because once I sketched all these out, I can simply export it as a .png with a transparent background, bring it right into Adobe Illustrator, no need to take a photo and brighten the photo in Photoshop. Let's head over to our first page in our logo design worksheet. I'm going to bring in our pen and paper sketches. I first need to go to Adobe Photoshop and lighten these photos up a little bit. I increased the brightness level and also the contrast level on these photos until I was happy. The Procreate sketches were a little easier, and I'm just bringing in a .png file of my sketches. After seeing all of these sketches together in one place, I could start to assess which ones might work and which ones I need to explore in more detail in Adobe Illustrator. This is the point where we need to narrow down our options to maybe just 2 to 3 main ideas or concepts. In this case, I'm going to explore the negative space I saw between the U and the X that creates this natural play button arrow. This could be done in a simple professional way, and I think it's worth exploring more in vector format. For the second concept, I want to explore the same play arrow idea, but on the character F, perhaps even replacing an arm of the F with the arrow. And with 2 main ideas or concepts selected, I'm ready to move into phase 2 of the process, which is the vectorizing of our sketches so we can play with them further, work with live typography, and easily switch out colors and more.